is dami nyo dito, 29. 28, parang 31 kayo, meron pang nawawala. Meron pang hindi pumapasok. Si Toledo ba, nandito na? Toledo is here?
Yes po.
Oh, how are you? Bakit nawawala? Saan ka napunta?
Pa.
Ba't ngayon lang in-accept? Meron pa ba? Sandali lang ha, titingnan ko kung meron pang hindi nag-accept ng aking invitation. Sino pa ang wala sa klase? Si Lianda. Oy, Mr. yung pinsan mo, Mr. Sapanta, nasan na yung pinsan mo? Lianda, siya na lang ang hindi pa nag-accept. We are 30. Supposed to be, dalawa pa ang wala. So, Lianda, ano daw yung pinsan mo? Okay, Nino Carlos, it composed of a lot of letters program that will help to apply it for programming, computer system. We're talking of the computer system, hindi tayo programming ngayon. IT fundamentals tayo, hindi programming. Okay, so computer system. What do you mean by computer system? Consists of hardware components that have been carefully chosen, but parang ako ang nagre-recite. You have to raise your hand, then tell me. Huwag nang i-type dyan sa chat box, you raise your hand. Okay, Abuan. Ako ang nagre-recite ko. Baliktad.
Hello po, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, computer system consists of hardware components that have been carefully chosen to they work well together and software component or program that run in computer.
Okay, so what's the real function of the computer system? What is the real function of the computer system? Tuwaso, ngayon ko lang din nakita, Toledo, nagtingin ako ng mga faces niyo. Anybody? Sige, later malalaman natin yung pinaka-function ng computer system. Okay, so that is, sabi nga kanina, components ng ano. So this is the components of everything that's part. So we have the 4 functional components of computer system. That is the input, the processing, the hardware, and the storage. So kumbaga, that's the equipment or the hardware itself. That's why the pictures that I presented in the screen is all about the hardware. Diba? Everything that comprises the computer system, lahat-lahat yan. That is what we call the computer system. Okay. So a computer system defined as a set of integrated devices that input, output, process, and store data and information. Ayan siya. The 4 functional part, input, you have to enter, output to display. So look on the diagram given. So this is the input, meaning to say, you have to enter the data. It will now go to the processing. So sa processing, nandyan si CPU. So we have yung CPU, we have 3 division. Later discuss natin yan. Then we have here the output. Then we have the storage. So yun yung 4 functional part and the people or the store the data. Okay. So if we're going to make it a broad one, so ito yung pinaka 4 functional parts of the computer. So we have here the input unit. So when we say input unit, that is refers to the data entry or entering of data. So mag-enter kayo. Now, to enter the data, you have to use the devices, di ba? So we have the input devices. Can you now give me an example of input devices? What is the first question is, what is the primary input device? Anybody from the class? Yes, Francis.
Ano po, miss? Keyboard po.
Keyboard, very good. So keyboard is the primary input device. Can you tell me the parts of the keyboard? Anybody? So what are the parts of the keyboard? Parts of the keyboard. Ano ba yan? Ginagamit nyo, tinatype nyo, hindi nyo alam. So, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 functions. Yung parts niya. So, the first is the, yes, Abuan. Yes, Raiden. Yes nga.
Hello po, ma'am.
Yo.
Um, function key, tsaka po navigation key, tsaka numeric
So,
keypad.
the
Tama po ba?
alphanumeric key, first is the alphanumeric key, function key, yung nasa taas, yung may F1 to F12. When we say alphanumeric, that is the character with the combinations of numbers. Yan yung malawak. Diba? We have then yung navigation, so yun yung mga navigation key, which is yung may arrow up, home screen, and so on. Then we have the numeric key, wherein you can find the numbers. So those are the parts. Now, any other example of input device? Yes, Lance.
Mouse po.
Input device, yes, it is a mouse. Anybody? Aside from the keyboard, the mouse, yes, Aaron. Very good. Nagtataasan ng kamay. Aaron. Tuwason. You raise your hand.
Ay, microphone po.
Microphone as an input, so that is under the sounds. Any other? Any other? There's a lot of input. Lumbre, ayoko na lumbre, iba naman, mamaya ka uli sasagot. Yung iba naman, panis na laway dyan. Yes, Jasmine.
Webcam po.
Jasmine. Pardon?
Webcam po. Webcam po.
Yeah. Yeah, that is webcam. Yes, Jetiso. Pardon? Earphones? Nag-input ng data sa earphone? We're talking of the input device. Yes, John Derex.
Miss Mouse po.
Nasabi na mouse, di ba? Balinas.
Printer scanner po.
No. That's not an input device. Ay, sorry, scanner. Nasa isip ko po printer. Kasi sinamahan mo ng printer eh. Scanner lang. Printer is not an input device, kaya ako napano. Scanner is an input device. Any other? Any other? So, Jetiso, Jasmine, mga nakaano na yan. Dayden, Abuan, yung mga ibang kamay naman ang gusto kong makita. Okay, so sabi natin, repeat ha. Input device refers to the enter of data, or input unit refers to the entering of data, or what we call the data entry. So, in entering the data, you have to use the input devices. So, those are the input devices are the keyboard, mouse, scanner, joystick. So, joystick is used in games, in the form of games. Other is, ano pa? Mouse ball, yung sa trackball, di ba? Yung sinuswirl, any other. So later, makikita niyo pa naman yan. Now, once you enter an information through the keyboard, for example, to the input unit, it will go to the CPU. CPU is a central processing unit. So the CPU composed of 3 divisions. What are they? Any idea? What are the 3 divisions of CPU? CPU stands for Central Processing Unit, or the brain. In other book, they called it also, aside from the brain, that's the heart of the computer. Kasi mga close niyan. So what are the 3 divisions of CPU? Anybody? Yes, Gab. Jetiso. Yeah. Alu? Arithmetic logic unit, and the main part is the memory unit. So there are 3. Control unit, main memory, and arithmetic logic unit. What is the function of the control unit? Kaya nga tinawag na control. What is the function of the control unit? What is the function? Yes, Lumbre.
Miss, it regulates and integrates the operations of the computer.
Regulates and
Integrates
integrates the function or
operations of the computer.
operation of the computer. Yes, any other? Meron pa? Control unit. So it will go first. Once you enter the instruction, it will go first to the control unit. So the control unit analyze the given instruction. That's why it is called analyzer. Direct the flow of instruction. So it is the one direct or director. Nagda-direct where will it go? Diba? So from the control unit, the instructions will go down to the main memory. So the main memory stores the data in a temporary basis. So why is it in a temporary? So once na tinurn off natin yan, all the instructions given, mawawala yan. Nasa part lang yan, sa memory lang yan ng computer. Then, the arithmetic logic unit function is perform all mathematicals and logical comparisons done. So all the decision-making computation done in the arithmetic logic unit. Now, once it is processed, it will now display the result. So we have the output unit. So the output unit, it is the one giving the result or displaying the result of the processing. Now, can you give me what are an examples of output unit? Yes, John Derek's
Miss Monitor po.
monitor. Another, Miss Macy Telebban,
Projector po.
projector. A projector is connected to the monitor. Another, any other? Yes, Kigan.
Headset or earphones or speakers.
Speakers.
Like-
Any other? Sa speaker, it's a, ilaw.
Miss Projector po.
Nasabi na projector.
Nasabi na po ba?
Sinabi na ni Macy. Tama ba ako? Natatandaan pa. Sumagot. Meron pa? Meron pa? From the ayun, Miss Puentes. Jenaline.
Video card po, miss.
What?
Video card po.
Video card, output, that's not. When we say output, it is displaying the result. The video card is a part lang ng motherboard. Di ba? Any other? But actually, we have just only two output device, which is the printer and monitor. Dalawa lang siya. Then, once you stored or you instruct to store the information, it will go to the auxiliary storage. So auxiliary storage is wherein your data is stored in a permanent basis. Why is it in a permanent basis? So yan na yung mga ginagamit natin. Give me an example of auxiliary or secondary storage. So ang primary natin is the main memory. Yes, Francis?
Kami sula lang po. Siguro po yung HDD tsaka yung SSD.
Pardon?
Yung HDD po tsaka SSD.
And
Pang save. O sa ano po ba to?
that's part of the
Microprocessor.
memory. That is the parts of the memory.
Okay po.
Memory yan. So we're talking on the auxiliary or secondary storage. Yes, Mr. De Peralta.
Hard drives or no, he said hard drive. Floppy disk.
Storage, that is auxiliary or secondary storage, wherein you store data.
Like a CD. Sorry.
The CD, yeah. Yes, Aaron.
Ano po, random access memory, yung RAM po.
RAM, that's part of the primary storage, di ba? RAM and ROM is a part. Yes, Mr. Sikenya.
Yung USB po.
USB. So USB is the universal serial bus. Any other? Yes, Mr. Corpus.
Ma'am, ano po, memory card.
Memory card. Memory card is considered sa, memory card, yung mga ano. Any other? Marami yan. Maraming storage. Hard.
Hard drive po.
Hard drive. Yes. Any other? Abuan.
Ma'am, zip drive.
Nakita. Wala. Yes, sino pa? Lance.
Miss Cloud po.
Pardon?
Cloud. Secondary.
Sa cloud storage. Yes, it is. Okay. So those are the functional parts of computer, di ba? Display. So nag-enter ka ng data, pinrasa kay CPU, nag-display ng output, once you instruct to save, dito siya. Di ba? So, paano sa CPU it will work? So, nag-enter ng data, the control unit analyze the given instruction. So, it is stored into the main memory, yung instruction given. If there is a mathematical, from the memory, what is the concept ng memory? Anong itsura? Nakakita na kayo ng yung cabinet nyo, di ba? Nakakita kayo dahil may cabinet kayo. Maling tanong ni Ms. Paterno. No? So, yung cabinet natin, di ba yung cabinet natin may compartment, may kanya-kanyang lalagyan. So, ganun yung concept ng storage sa main memory. So, meron siyang mga box wherein, halimbawa, nag-input dun sa flowchart natin, di ba? Sa flowchart programming natin, sinabi siya, enter 3 numbers. So, dun sa 3 numbers na yan, we use 3 variables, di ba? A, B, and C. So, sa memory storage, sa main memory, nakabox yan ganyan, 3. So, you have the A, B, C. So, if there is a mathematical calculation happened, so, halimbawa, there's an addition, A plus B is equals to E. So, there's a storage for the E wherein you're going to store the sum or the total of A and B. So, ganun. May mga boxes, may corresponding value, may storage, lilipat. Pag-aaralan niyo pa naman yan pagdating sa lesson. Okay? So, na-explain ko naman siya, bibilisan ko na lang. Refers to the entering or feeding of data, obtains information and the input devices. So, output gives you out the user the result of the process data. So, screen or control device. CPU, a process is a series of steps and decision involved in the way work is completed. Yan. Secondary storage, a non-volatile, a long-term storage. There are 3 main types of secondary storage. So we have what we call the solid state. So when we say solid state, yan na yung USB or the USB, the memory stick, and another one. So mga solid state. So we have the optical. When we say optical devices, nandiyan na yung si CD, si DVD, and the Blu-ray disc. Magnetic storage, that is a hard disk. Magnetic, yung magnetic tape, considered sa magnetic one, yung mga cassette tape, yung Betamax tape, that is considered sa magnetic storage devices. Okay, so what are the anatomy of the computer system? So these are an examples of input device. So we have the keyboard. Keyboard is the primary input device in entering. Mouse, it composed of buttons, the left and the right buttons used to move around the desk. Scanner is to scan. It is either scan the object or yung barcode or yung bed type scanner. So meron tayong klase ng scanner, di ba? We have the barcode scanner wherein you're going to scan the code, yung parang line corresponding value. If it is a document, you may use the bed type scanner. Trackball, ano yung trackball? Yung mouse na mayroong ball sa gitna, yung may red, ginagamit to twirl. So, pag ganyan ang gamit doon, tinutwirl. Joystick is used to enter or it is used in a form of game. Light pen. Light pen is a pointing device. You use to point. Then we have the webcam. There are 2 types of webcam, di ba? Ano yung dalawang camera, webcam at saka yung sa computer. Okay, so output, we have the monitor, printer, speaker. So the speaker, that's considered as the output devices. Memory management, we have the memory, the primary memory and the secondary memory. Okay, so yan yung arithmetic, that's part, processing unit, yung motherboard. Diba, nandun sa part, so tsura. So that is the keyboard, yun isa-isa naman. So the keyboard parts, alphabet, numbers, special characters, page jump function, and so on. Modifier key. So the types of keyboard, meron tayong tinatawag na QWERTY type. What's that QWERTY type? Yung sa taas, ang sunod-sunod niya is QWER, tapos sa taas is UIOP. Ang yung pinaka-main niya, ASDF, JKL semicolon, that is what we call the home keys. Then the lower keys should be ZXCV, then we have the BNM, then period. So diniscuss lang. So what is that ASCII table? So that ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Interchange. So there's a corresponding value, yung characters na pinepress natin, there's a corresponding value. So for example, yes, Mr. Dones. Carl, do you have question? Carl?
Ma'am, napindot lang po.
Okay, so this one is just represent when try to use it sa keyboard ninyo. When you press, for example, you use the numeric keys. So type a combination of Alt, then any number, there is a character key that displays. So ito yon, mga character. Pag tinype nyo, Alt 97, yan yung mga character na magdi-display. So press kayo, try ninyo. Naka-keyboard ba kayo? Press niyo Alt, then any combination of 3. Okay, so para mas makabisado ninyo, yung may enye, that is Alt 164 for the small letter and Alt 165 for capital letter. So may mga corresponding, that is what we call the ASCII character or the American Standard character. So mouse, equipped with one or more button, housed in a palm-sized case, and designed to roll in the mouse pad. That is an example of mouse. Then that is the trackball, that what I'm saying. May ball siya sa una. Used to twirl the ball for fast positioning of the cursor. Di ba yung mga laptop na merong red sa gitna, tawag dun sa red doon is the trackball. Yung pad. So that is the joystick. Then this is an example of the light pen, yung wand. So a light pen is a computer input in the form of the light-sensitive wand used in conjunction with computer, CTV, or monitor. So usually yung mga may ganyan, yun yung sa touch screen, di ba? So scanner, this is the barcode scanner, and this is what we call the bed type scanner. So camera, we have the webcam, tsaka yung digital cam. So there are two types of camera, the digital cam and the webcam. Monitor. So the monitor, marami tayo, di ba? May malalaki. Monitor before is what we call CRT. CRT stands for cathode ray tube or VDT. Pag sinabing VDT, Visual Display Terminal. So these are the types of monitor before, yung mga bulky type ng monitor. Yung may mga likod pa, may mga maumbok sa likod. Those are the VDT or the visual types of monitor. But now, we have what we call the LCD or the liquid crystal display. So yan yun. So ano yung nandyan? Miss, ano po yung capable of displaying 16 lines, 64 characters, 16 lines, 40. So that is the sizes of the monitor. The monitor capable of 16, so that is the inches. Yung, for example, 19 inches, 24 inches, 20. So they're displaying yung 16 lines. Ito yung mga maliliit lang, 16 lines. So 16 lines lang yan pababa. Then 64 lines. So that is the yung size ng monitor. But ano lang ata yun, yung mga 14, 12 inches monitor. Okay? Now, ito yung sinasabi kanina ni Miss Jenaline, yung mga BGA. So that's part of the video card na inilalagay sa memory. So there are two general kinds of monitor. We have the monochrome. So yung monochrome, that is the type of monitor that using two colors only. Yun yung green and black, black and amber, then black and white. So medyo hindi pa siya yung type ng color. Then the another one is the colored monitor. So if it is colored monitor, meaning it is powered by several type of adapter. So yun yung part na nilalagay dun sa motherboard. Di ba? Yung mga video graphics. So noon, unang it is what we call the CGA or the color graphic adapter. So So it just only 640 to 200 pixel. So meaning to say, ang picture is not smooth. It is pixelated. What do you mean by pixel? What is pixel? Ano yung pixel? What is pixel? Pixel is a small... Yes, God. Jetiso. Yeah. Oh, yung maliit na square. Di ba? Kung if we're going to compare that sa graphing paper, di ba yung graphing paper is may mga square. So yung pictures natin, pag marami, nag-download kayo ng pictures, nakita ninyo, hindi maganda yung dating pixelated. Less ang gamit ng video adapter. Mababa ang resolution na monitor ninyo. So dapat mataas. So ito yung mga types ng adapter na para mapaganda. We have the EGA or the Enhanced Graphic Adapter Support Solution. Ay, sorry. Wala ako. Nagalaw. Ano, wala. Ano ba yan? Malikot ang kamay. Wala. Okay? So, yun yung CGA or the Enhanced Graphic Adapter, the resolution of 640 by 350 pixel. VGA is the Video Graphic Adapter, has a solution of 640 by 480 pixel. SVGA, the Super Video Graphic Adapter, resolution is 1024 by 768 pixels. So, ibig sabihin, medyo maganda-ganda na yung resolution ng inyong monitor. Okay. So monitor, types of monitor, marami tayong, di ba? We have colored and but there are the types of monitor. So sinasabi nga, CRT, ayan ang itsura, yung may box sa likod. Okay. So computer monitor were the most common computer used before. Yan yung mga gray and black, ang colored, gray or black and green and black and amber. Yung black and amber parang orange. So those are the monitor we used before na masakit sa mata. So sakit sa mata nun. Then we have the LCD or the liquid crystal display. So computer monitor save a lot of space and can even be mounted on the wall. So yun yung naman niya, pwedeng ihang lang sa wall yung mga LCD type. So we have the plasma. So less commonly used with the computer due to the high operating temperature. Medyo madaling mag-init, high power consumption. So those are the plasma. Another one types of monitor is the touch screen. So you use your finger to point. So provide a new way of interacting with the computer with a touch-sensitive screen. This allows user to interact directly with the application of screen without need for a mouse or for a keyboard. So, tinaano na lang, parang sa browse. Then we have the OLED. Another type is the OLED or the organic light emitting display. So, computer monitor are much thinner and brighter than the LCD or the plasma OLED monitor. Can also be placed on a transparent surface such as a glass, allowing the user to see through them when not in use. So parang nagiging salamin, that is not in use. So yun yung OLED. Pero mga hindi na ganun, LCD lang ang nag-boom. Now, types of printer. So printer is an output device that produces the printed copy on paper. So yun yun. Okay, so this is what we call the types of printer. There are three. So there is a classification of the printer according to character or known as the serial printer. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Print one character at a time like a typewriter. Di ba? The electric typewriter, pag nag-print, pag pinress mo yung 8, ganun siya. So the character printer is the same. Printing per character. Pag sinabing line printer, it prints one line of a character in a time. So there are types of printer. Nagpa-print ka, isang linya agad, tapos diretso. Then we have page printer. Print the whole or the entire page at a time. So para ito yung mga Xerox copier type. So character, print by character, line by one line, and the entire page or the whole page is what we call the page printer. So ano naman yung mga klase niyan? So classification of printer kanina according to amount of information printed at a time. Now, according to operation. Pag sinabing according to operation, we have what we call impact printer. Ano yung impact printer? Nakakita na kayo nung the impact printer prints character by physically striking paper, the ink, or the ribbon. So it is using the ribbon. Nakakita na kayo ng dot matrix printer, yung maingay. Nung nag-enroll kayo dito sa Siena, ano nga pala, online pala kayo, nung pinrint yung inyong assessment paper, maingay. Ganyan, tas tuldok-tuldok lang the character display in a dot one. So that is what we call the impact printer. Nagtatouch si printer head sa paper para makapag-print. Then the other one is the non-impact printer, meaning prints character by means of photography, heat, ink, spray, and laser. So that yung mga printer natin ginagamit ngayon, mga continuous printer na yan. So nag-spray lang or nagbubuga lang ng ink or the laser. So yun yung dalawa. Hindi walang touch sa paper, basta nag-aano lang siya. According to style, we have what we call character printer and the dot matrix printer. Yun nga sinabi ko, the dot matrix print, it produces a character by means of dot. Tingnan ninyo yung inyong registration form. Yung mga letters doon, may mga dot. So that is printed in a dot matrix printer. Tama ba ako, Carl? Tinan mo nga yung registration form mo. Diba? Dot, dot, dot yung mga character dyan. Tama? Tama? Tama ba? Wala kang speaker.
Opo.
Di ba? May yung letter A, for example, letter A, makikita mo yan, may form of dot. So they use the dot matrix type of printer. So kung yung smooth, yung laser printer, that is a character printer. Okay, is there any questions? So that matrix, you use a low quality and high volume of application. So kahit maramihan, hindi magastos. Kasi it is used the ribbon. Inkjet is lower than dot matrix but produce the high quality printout. So medyo maganda yung dating ng output. Laser consists of microprocessor that stone the textual information. So laser na siya. Maganda na yung dating talaga ng output niya. So the output device, we have the speaker. So converts an electric signal into a sound. Audio drivers need to be installed to produce the audio output. Speaker either inbuilt in the computer or attached external to the computer. Then we have the memory. Pinag-uusapan pa kasi natin is the computer system. So memory or the primary memory, pag sinabi natin primary memory, built in unit of the computer. That's part of the motherboard. Nandun siya. So the data is stored in a machine understandable binary format in the memory. So nakita tayong mag-binary. Magkukompute na kayo. So the types of primary storage are the ROM. Or ROM stands for read-only memory. So the ROM is the permanent memory. A non-volatile or volatile, a chip inserted in the motherboard stores the BIOS or the basic input-output system which perform post or the power on self-test. BIOS stands for basic input-output system. Then we have the RAM. So the RAM is the random access memory. So it is the read and write memory. A volatile. Yung isa, the ROM is non-volatile and the RAM is volatile one. Then we have what we call the cache. Other pronounce it cache, but it is cache memory. It is store the data and application that was last processed by the CPU. So yung last na ginagawa natin or ginagawa nyo, it will be stored in the cache. When CPU perform processing, it first search the cache, then the RAM. Kaya nakikita what is the last that you have stored or last na ginawang processing. So, ROM types, what are those? So, there are 3 types of ROM. We have what we call the PROM, so stands for Programmable ROM, a memory chips on which data can be written only once. So, it is manufactured as a blank memory. Isang beses lang yan susulatan, hindi na pwede. EEPROM, erasable ROM or ROM, a special type of ROM that can be erased by imposing it to UV light. So yung isang beses lang, hindi na pwedeng gamitin. EEPROM, erasable PROM, similar to PROM but requires electricity to be erased. Okay? So we have RAM, type of RAM naman, yung mga nilalagay. We have what we call the SRAM. S stands for static. When we say static, it is steady. Diba? Hindi na gagalaw. So static RAM, it is faster, expensive, and consume less power. SRAM is used in cache memory. Then we have what we call the DRAM. The DRAM is dynamic, changeable. This is slower, cheaper, and consume less power. So the DRAM is widely used in the main memory. Okay, so yan yung mga itsura. So, bibili ng SDRAM, DDR. So, yan yung mga itsura ng mga memory na nilalagay kay motherboard. Ayan. So, motherboard naman or CPU, sabi nga, so nandyan. Pag Pinoy, bakit yan ang nilagay kong picture? Pag tinanong kayo, where is the CPU? Di ba? Ito yung pinopoint nyo. You are wrong. This is not a CPU. This is the computer system casing. Casing lang yan ha, hindi yan ang CPU. The CPU is this one. Ito, yung maliit, part of the motherboard. Kung nakakita na kayo or tinignan ninyo yung laman ng motherboard, yung merong parang exhaust fan na maliit, nandun sa CPU. Ganito ang itsura niyan. Ito. So this is a motherboard. So a motherboard or the main board or known as the system board, the main circuit board of the computer. It contains all the circuit, that component that runs the computer. So laman ng system casing ay ito. So ito yung mga slots wherein you're going to put the video card, ayan, yung ROM, yung mga RAM na dinadagdag. Ito yung CPU. So yun yung itsura ng motherboard. Wala kasi kayo dito sa school, kaya wala akong hindi ko naman mapapakita ano. So mas maganda na yung picture. Okay, so that is the CPU. Ganyan lang siya kaliit. So the model of Intel Core 2 Duo and the AMD Athlon. So merong AMD type, merong sa Intel, parts of the processor. That's also known as the processor. Okay? So ito, na-discuss ko na naman siya kanina. Primary storage, arithmetic, na-discuss ko na yan. Okay. So microprocessor. Before, so when we say microprocessor, it is a tiny chips of silicons that contains 100,000 of transistor. So nung time namin, wala pa, we have what we call 8088, 8086, and turbo compatible. So these are the type of chips were used in 1970s personal computer. So the Apple type of computer, yan yung mga ginagamit nun. Then nagkaroon siya ng 8286 or what we call the 80s computer or the 80s family of microprocessor. Nag-improve na siya. Nagkaroon siya ng 82 which is only having 640 kilobytes. Then 8386, yan na yung gumamit na ng this operating system. Meron na siya ng WordStar, Lotus, mga ganyan. Then nagkaroon ng 8486. So it has the state-of-the-art microprocessor that includes numeric coprocessor that speed mathematical computation. So dito na ginamit nung una si Windows. Windows 1 pa yan. Windows 1 hanggang 3. Pag sinabing sa start ng history ng Windows is Windows 1. Then, dumating na si Pentium. Siguro yun yung naabutan nyo or nasa ano na kayo. So, we have the Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. Meron ng dual core, quad core, and so on. Then the latest for the Intel, we have the i3. Pag I stands for the Intel, hindi yung AMD sa Intel yan. i3, i5, i7, and the latest now is the i9. So for ngayon, we're using the i5. The college laboratory is using the i5 Intel processor. Okay? Any questions? Clarifications? May tanong? Wala naman. Clear pa ba ako? Clear pa ako? Mamumubang ating, I had a memo o notice na nakuha, parang mamumove yung ating prelim exam. That will be, I think, October 3. So, marami tayong may sasama sa exam ng prelim, no? Okay, so it was discussed already. Magnetic storage, CD-ROM, magnetic optical, floppy disk. Ayan. So, ayan na yung mga itsura. The auxiliary or the secondary storage. That is the CD or the optical disk. Or the CD stands for the compact disk or the optical disk. DVD, so ano naman siya, common disk, the dimension. Mas malaki yung capacity rather than using the CD. Diba? That almost yung dating niya, but storage capacity, mas maraming na-store kay DVD rather than using the CD. Then we have the hard disk. Hard disk is a non-volatile random access device for digital data. So platters yun yung type niya, rotating platters. Ito siya. The form of that is, sino itong labas-pasok kayo sa klase ha, bagbanang ka. Then we have the flash memory or the memory card. Hindi siya yung, it is not called USB ha. Pag may tumawag pa nito, ano to tawag dito? Ano mang USB? Universal Serial Bus, yun yung port na isasaksak itong si flash drive. Diba? Yung mga port. So later natin yun sa ibang part ng discussion natin. So in our time, another magnetic storage. That is what we call the diskette. Yan yung ginamit ko nung college ako. You're going to, so this one is 8x5, 8x8. This one is 5 and 1/4, 3.5 size. Papaliit yung storage. So, ano pa lang yan? KB pa lang, ang kilobytes lang ang kayang i-store yan. That's why we're using a lot of diskette before. When I was in college, nakabox yan. Kailangan pag bumili ka, isang box, marami. Iba yung data disk, iba yung system disk. System disk before, yung diskette namin na ganyan, parang the system disk, it is just compare with Windows now. Yung Windows kasi parang used to boot the system or you used to open your computer. When we say boot, you have to open the system. So ginagamit lang namin noon is diskette. So once you format that diskette with /s, format, di ba, nagpo-format kayo ngayon ng drive or kung ano yung po-format niyo, ganun din sa diskette. So you just format /s. So ibig sabihin, with the system, pag with system na yan, pwede ninyong gamitin yung diskette na pang-boot or pang-open ng computer. So that is the magnetic tape. Nakakita na kayo yung sa sinihan, di ba? Yung ginagamit sa movie. So that's considered as another storage, belongs to magnetic tape. Yung diskette and DVD, that's considered. So may mga reader sila, di ba? Then for the paper storage, we have the punch card. So that is the punch card or known as the paper storage. Okay? Another is the zip drive or the zip storage. So that this one is same as the external drive na ginagamit ngayon, di ba? Aside from the hard disk, you may use the external drive. I have here an external drive. So yung ganito, outside. Ay, hindi nyo kita. So, kita ba? Ayan. That is the external drive. So, those are the secondary. Ayan. Meron pala dito. Okay? So, sabi, in short, the computer system is a system which consists of the hardware, software, and peopleware. Without each one of the computer cannot function at all. So pag may nawala, walang gagana. The term computer hardware refers to the all parts of the computer that you can touch. Computer software generally refers to those computer-related things that you cannot touch. Or meaning, computer software, it is the programs that you're going to use. Okay, I think that's the end of my presentation. Any questions, clarification? That's the end. Eksakto pala, no? 5 minutes. Ang galing.